false choice that's presented that preservationists and others have to spend time dissuading. And that is this false choice of either we're going to have economic development or we're going to have historic preservation.
Hmm.
Absolutely a fallacious false choice that we ought to be thinking, how come I'm in the economic development business. I'm all for economic development, but we ought to be thinking, how do we do economic development through historic preservation using historic buildings as opposed to viewing them as counter. That's point one. Point two is this, that in the vast majority of towns and cities, maybe three, maybe five, maybe 8% of the land area of the city is under the purview of the real estate commission or of the preservation commission. 90 or 92 or 95% isn't. Well, if you're not smart enough to figure out how to do your goofy building in the other 95% of the land, then maybe you're not smart enough to be in the real estate development business. I mean, you have the whole city to work with, for God's sake. Now, what's interesting is in the case in Aiken, but lots of other places too, it's that the developers say, yeah, that's the preservation ordinance that's getting in my way. I refer to those as parasite buildings,
Hmm.
in that they want to take advantage of the quality, the character, the attractiveness of those districts. They just don't want to have to comply. In fact, we did a study a few years ago in New York City, where, of course, the Real Estate Board of New York is, always on hard charge. You've got to weaken these preservation rules. The very developers that would be saying, and their organizations saying, this is hampering our development. We can't do what we need to do. Once they get their gazillion-dollar building built, what does their advertising say? Oh, it's a walking distance from this and that historic district. Those are the parasites. They're taking advantage of it. And then the third element in this, again, one of the metrics that we frequently look at in these studies, we look at 10 or 15 years, as long as we can get as far as we can get the data, and we look at the pattern of turn downs, of denials by the local preservation commission. I've never seen it more than 5% of the applications. Usually it's one in Frankfurt, where we're coming from, is over the last decade, over three-quarters of the applications for a certificate of appropriateness, the phrase for getting permission to do what you want to do in the historic district, over 75% of them were decided at the staff level, so you didn't even have to go to the commission, and that over the course of the year, 1% of the projects were turned down. Well, that's hardly a barrier to development when 99% of all the projects get approved either by staff or by the commission. So it's a fake argument.